place where you can just vent away. So that's what we call pepping. So sometimes I'll just call a friend, I'm like, who knows about pepping? I'll be like, I'm just going to pep to you, and I'll just like flirt for 2 minutes, and then they'll do the same. And then afterwards you're like, okay, moving on towards my day. So that's kind of a little tactic that, that I like to use. And then we're going to get into, so that's kind of like the drama triangle. I know a lot of you guys at work know about drama. And right now, again, with politics, there's a lot of drama. If you go to your social media and all of that, things are going on. But I'm going to introduce to you the three. We've got the victim, we've got the rescuer, and then we've got the persecutor. I'll just put P for persecutor. So you've got this triangle. Okay. So the victim is the poor me syndrome. The rescuer wants to help the victim. And then the persecutor is blaming, right? So we're going to do a demonstration of that. Coach Aaron and Breen and I are going to demonstrate what that would look like, and then we're all going to do that as well. So, I'm victim, you're rescuing, persecutor. Okay. Oh, I just gave you guys the answer, but whatever. Oh my God, it's so late. It's like 6:30. It's dark out. I mean, I just want to eat. I want to go home. Oh my God, it's been such a long day, and I don't know, man. It's just kind of like.
Why didn't you bring lunch today then?
Well, it was just I was going from meeting to meeting, and I got the baby.
She has a baby, and you know she
That's
has
what babysitters are for.
so much. But see, we're here at the office. I told her that I can help her with anything that you need. Just come to me if you need anything.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, I'll just take care of. Yeah, I mean, I'll just take care of you. Don't worry about anything.
Really?
You know, we'll just.
Really? She can't take care of herself and her baby?
Well,
You have a job to do too.
I have a job, but you know, I can
You're
be
so
an assistant. I know what it was like when I was a young mom and I had no help, so I will be an assistant to her.
You figured it out, right?
Figured it out. What do you mean?
How
you don't
to manage
understand.
your-
You're a guy.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't get it.
Yeah, I get it.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're done here.
We're gonna get a fight.
See, she also.
Don't do that for longer than a minute, because then you really get it now.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, so what got accomplished in this conversation? Nothing. Right. And then it just kind of goes boom, and you go in a circle, and you go in a circle. So
I don't know if you guys caught it, but she also started persecuting him. So she also started the role reversal, and then I was about to do the same to him. And then what with the rescuer? What I'm trying to avoid something, right? I'm trying to avoid my own issues. I'm trying to avoid taking care of my own self, and I'm thinking that taking care of her would be, you know, so that's allowing me to avoid my issues. It's allowing me to just do that. So
yeah. And how often, it doesn't even need 3 people to do this. You could do this within yourself too. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't have time to eat, and then, wow, and then I'm going to blame the job, and then, you know, and then I'm going to blame my husband, and then I'm going to need him to rescue me, or, you know, so it just goes in this vicious cycle. So I just want, the main reason I'm talking about this is about personal responsibility. How often do we need to just be responsible for ourselves? And it's so easy to just go down that rabbit hole, and we go deeper, and we go deeper, and then before you know it, it's no getting out. So, did you have a...
Oh, no.
Yeah, comment.
Just blowing on my hand.
Oh.
Sorry. What?
But, you know, it goes with work, it goes with family, so...
I'll use that tomorrow. Use that to motivate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I just wanted to point that out for you. I wanted to point out the drama triangle, and so next time, you know, if you find yourself, whether it's a check-in, whether it's just a family, whether it's, you know, like eating healthy, you know, ask yourself, am I being a persecutor right now? Am I being a victim? Am I being a rescuer? And when you have that, when you can call it, it's like, oh, okay, I'm just being a victim right now, okay. You know, you can give yourself some grace. But I thought that would be a nice tool for you guys to lead with at work, wherever. So, so then we did that, and then, Quill, sure.
Love to show that.
Coach Chloe.
You want to-
Woo!
You're gonna stand up here with me.
Okay.
So, I'm excited to get to talk to you guys tonight because I've been learning a lot of fun stuff at IIN. And one of the things is about the nervous system and how that affects stress and how stress affects our inability to be really healthy, and especially when it comes to losing weight. So I just want to touch on this a little bit, and you guys probably already know this part, but just to brush up. Central nervous system is what we control with our conscious thinking, and then we have the autonomic nervous system, and that is what we cannot control with just, we can't demand something and it happens, like we can sit down with our central nervous system. This happens a little bit differently. So this has two components, the sympathetic nervous system, which I want you to think of the color red, and then the parasympathetic nervous system, I want you to think of the color green. And first I'm going to start with the red, where we don't want to be. So when you are living in the sympathetic nervous system, your adrenaline is constantly pumping. So how many of you feel this way during work? That you're, okay, so you're living in the red zone during a good portion of your life then, okay? So what this is doing is telling your entire body, every cell in your body, that you're in danger. So what our bodies were created for were to live in the fight or flight response, was like if we're being chased by a tiger, okay? So then we have that adrenaline available to us that will make us move faster or fight harder, to fight for our lives. But the world that we live in today, we're creating that adrenaline on our own every single day in our jobs. And it's our perception of pressure that makes us live in the red zone. And we want to get away from that. But it's our own fault. We put pressure behind emails. We schedule appointments back to back to back. We schedule our kids in activities and think that it needs to be a go, go, go lifestyle. So it is our own fault, and we need to take personal responsibility for that. We don't have to live in our society because that's the way everybody else does it. We don't have to be that way. So I'm not saying that you don't have stress in your life. There's no pressure. What I am saying is that it's your perception of pressure. So if you can control how you perceive these things that are piling up on you, you can control your health. And I learned this from one of the professors, is called Libby Weaver. She speaks at a bunch of events, and she speaks to cancer patients and cancer survivors, and she goes around and surveys them and says, you know, are you feeling stress in your life? Are you feeling pressure? And the general consensus between these cancer survivors and cancer patients is no. That because of what they've been through, their perception is nothing's going to bring me down, this is nothing compared to cancer, and just having that mindset that, you know, you could be a lot worse, and just taking those breaths. So that's the first contributor to the red zone. The second one is caffeine. And how many of us drink caffeine every day? Okay. How many of us drink a lot of caffeine? Okay. How many of us start our mornings with caffeine? Okay. So Dr. Weaver believes that if you start your morning with caffeine, you're setting yourself up to be in the red zone from the very get-go. Okay. That's one theory. I know coffee is controversial. I don't drink it myself, but I know a lot of people do. And if it doesn't bother you, then it's probably okay. But just be aware that that is one thing that puts us automatically right in here.
So how would we know if it bothers us?
If you're high stressed all day and you're starting yourself with coffee, and you're not able to come back to the green zone, then it's probably something you want to be aware of.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. So when it comes to losing weight, okay, and I'm talking about this because 3 out of every 4 people are overweight, 1 in 3 people are obese. And so when we're in the red zone, we think that our life is in danger. And our bodies are going to burn the fastest burning fuel that we have available, and it's either glucose or fat. So which one do you think it's going to burn when you're in the red zone? Glucose. Which one do we want it to burn? Fat. Okay? So when we're in the red zone, our blood moves away from our digestive system, the nutrients, the oxygen. It moves away from our hair, our skin, our nails. So if you have those issues, you may be living in the red zone. And, you know, 1 in 5 women, I think, have IBS. And yes, it has to do with food, but I think it mostly has to do with stress. So that's something to look at and think about.
She also gives an example of a marathon runner who she was running 40 to 90 miles a week. She was eating very, very well. She gained 24 pounds in 9 months training for this marathon. She ate the same way. She quit running. She started doing Tai Chi, and she lost all the weight. Plus, her old clothes were just falling off of her. So it just goes to show when you move to the green zone, this is where you're going to lose weight. Okay, so living in the red zone, what else are we causing our bodies? Not only we can't lose weight, but what else can we not do?
Sleep.
Good. Thanks, Erin. So we can't sleep, and sleep is essential to having good health. It leads to bad eating habits, and then sleep is essential. So just like the earth, okay? So during the day, we're living in a heated environment because we're in the red zone. And at night, it's supposed to cool off. Our bodies are supposed to cool off. But if that doesn't happen, and your body thinks, oh my gosh, at any minute I could have to fight or flight, then you're not going to be getting sufficient rest. Okay, so now to the green zone, where we want to be. This is your rest, digest, and repair. You want to be saving up for the red zone if you're driving down the street and a little kid runs out, and then you're able to stop on the brakes. We don't want to use up everything we have all day long. We want to save that. So the way to get into this is through diaphragmatic breathing. And we're going to talk about that today. But when you breathe diaphragmatically, it actually massages your heart a little bit, so it decreases your risk of heart disease, and then you're able to calm yourself, and you're able to move into the green zone. So have you ever paid attention to how adults breathe? How do they breathe? Okay. Okay, just from the chest up. Short, shallow, sharp breaths. How do babies breathe?
Fast.
Okay, so their bellies go up and down and they're breathing through their nostrils. So that's how we want to breathe. So what I'm going to have you do right now is put your stomach, or your hand on your belly button. And this may take a while for you to get, it takes practice to get your belly to expand. So we're going to breathe in through our nose and try to push our bellies out like a Buddha. Okay? So try that. It's hard to do standing up, I feel like. And then you're going to exhale and push your belly button back down to your spinal cord. Okay? So try to push your belly out when you inhale, fill it up with air, and then push it out and let your belly button fall back to your spine. Now if you did
Are we
this...
exhaling out of our nose too, or out of our mouth?
Yeah, you should exhale out of your nose if you can. And there's a saying, the longer the exhale, the longer the life, or something like that. Have you heard that before? So we're asking that one of your assignments is to do this twice a day, or as much as you can for the next week. Okay, and see if you can move yourself into the green zone.
Maybe add it to your morning regimen too.
There you go.
As well.
Before the banana or after?
Before, because then your cells
Ready for
have
it.
oxygenation and they're ready for perfusion when you eat that banana. So that's good.
Do you have any questions?
There's one brief exercise you can also do to increase parasympathetic input. It's very simple, very short. It's called 4-7-8 breathing. So what you do is, if you can, you put the tongue on top of your mouth, and you breathe in through your nose, counting 4 seconds. And same thing as Chloe was saying, your belly should come out. And then you hold the breath for 7 seconds, and then you exhale for 8 seconds. And so you do it for 4 cycles, from 4 to 8. 8 is the maximum at any given time. So I'll show it to you, and then you guys can do it with me. It takes hardly 1 minute. Okay, so you close your eyes, you relax, and then you take in a breath with belly coming out. So your tongue is on, if you can, top of your mouth, roof of the mouth. This is 1 cycle. So if you guys can do it, you guys can also do it. Even standing is fine, but do anywhere between 4 to, let's do 8 cycles. I'll do 7, you guys do 8. Okay. So breathing in 4 seconds, keeping it in 7 seconds, breathing it out 8 seconds. That's one cycle.
8 times?
Yeah, let's do it 8 times, yeah.